Afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining. We're very excited to give everyone a sneak peek at our latest product, Brain Builder. So Brain Builder is a web-based tool that allows companies to annotate and prepare their data, which we really view as the gateway to creating any production-level AI solution. So when we think about the vision for Brain Builder, we really think about three main pillars. The first pillar is aimed at helping customers with their data preparation and AI data strategy. The second pillar revolves around creating a neural network inside of the Brain Builder platform. And the third really focuses on being able to deploy that neural network, or brain as we call it, on an edge device. So we recently launched Brain Builder into beta, and the platform is currently available to tackle the first of those three main pillars.
Great, Rakesh. Actually, I think this is an interesting point to note, but Brain Builder actually started as an internal tool that Neurala used to help build an AI solution for one of the world's top smart device companies. So we really do eat our own dog food here at Neurala.
Yeah, that's a great point, Crystal. So when we first set out to look at different annotation tools, what we found in the market was really tools that were either hard to install or really hard to use from an interface perspective. And they really didn't fit the bill for the customers that we were working with. And so we decided to build Brain Builder here internally for our own purposes. And then as we started to show this to more and more customers, it really resonated with them and some of the challenges that they were facing. And so we decided to release it into Brain Builder. Sorry, we decided to release it into a beta program due to popular demand. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right into the platform here. So within Brain Builder, the first step is to create a project. So within the platform, users can create projects and programs to help govern the types of AI initiatives that are happening across their organization. So I'd simply click here, and I'll just create a sample project. And with every project, you can create one data set, or you can create multiple data sets. So for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm going to create a flower data set. And this is actually a use case that one of our enterprise customers came to us with, and that AI is actually deployed to over 10 million smart devices around the world. So I'll click on Create here. Now that I've created a data set, I want to go ahead and upload some images. So for the purposes of this webinar, I'm only going to upload a couple of images, but Brain Builder was built to scale and can accommodate millions of images for your large-scale AI initiatives. So once the images are loaded, you'd simply click inside of an image, and it takes you to the workspace. So the workspace is predominantly where all of the annotation work happens. So you'll notice a couple of things. On the left-hand side, I have a classes icon. So within the classes, I can create, I can delete, I can rename, and basically the classes are the different classes of objects that you want to annotate within your images. So in addition to that, we have some basic annotation tools here on the left-hand side. So we give you basic point and click tools with the pen tool and the brush tool. We allow you to cut polygons to make creating complex polygons easier. And then, of course, we provide tools like adjusting the brightness and whatnot. So in addition to some of the more basic tools, one of the things that we're trying to do with Brain Builder is introduce more intelligent tools, right? So, giving a user point and click capability to create polygons is great, but it's a very time-consuming process, right? And so one of the tools that we created was our Smart Fill tool. And so with Smart Fill, I could simply click on the color of an object, and then I can have the system automatically generate all of the polygons for me. So this particular image was actually an image that was used in one of our enterprise customers. And this particular image before Smart Fill took anywhere from 8 to 10 minutes to tag accurately. So 8 to 10 minutes for one image is quite a bit, But then if you think about 8 to 10 minutes over a large data set of 1,000 or 10,000 images, that quickly adds up, right? And in order to do this, you really need a large workforce. So again, we're really introducing tools that are helping our users create these annotations very quickly and very accurately. So as I progress through my data set, I would simply use the different annotation tools and go through all of my images. And then once I'm done, I would go to the dashboard. The dashboard is really a high-level overview of everything that I've annotated. So within the dashboard, on the top, you can see the different classes of objects that I've tagged. So for example, for flowers, you can see that I've created 18 different annotations, and that was really done in under 30 seconds. And so if I'm a project manager, I also want to be able to look at my projects and look at the completion percentage for each of those projects to see how my users are progressing through each one. Then finally, when I've completed annotating the data, I want to be able to do something with that data, right? And so I'll click on the export button here. So one thing that we heard from our users was that being able to pull the data from the system and manipulate it in a way that's easily ingestible by a TensorFlow or a Caffe framework was really critical. We found that a lot of customers are writing custom code, 1,000 lines of code to really manipulate this data. So what we decided to do was really build this into the platform itself. So users can export all of their data in a simple JSON format, but they can also create and manipulate the data so that it's ready for a TensorFlow or Caffe framework. So if I clicked on TensorFlow, I have a couple of different options here. If I'm creating an image segmentation network, I would click the first option. If I'm creating an object detection network, I would click on the second option. So let's say that I'm creating a segmentation network. I would then pick all of the different classes that I want to export from the system. So if you think about this from an enterprise perspective, you're going to have lots of AI initiatives, lots of AI projects and programs across your organization. And this gives you the flexibility to create custom data sets that you can really train on for particular use cases. So for this example, I'll just say I want to export all of the flower data. And then you're presented with a series of options. So a lot of our researchers like to have these options as they're creating neural networks, and it makes their life a little bit easier. So you can choose whether you want to have one mask per image or if you want to have one mask for each individual class. Then you can also square your images and adjust the pixels. And then finally, once you've gone through your entire data set, you want to be able to partition that data set across the training, the validation, and test folders. And this is really what a framework like TensorFlow would ingest into the system. So then you would simply click on review, and then you would submit your request. And then once the system has finished processing, you'll get an email saying that your request has finished processing, and you'll be able to download all of your data from the system. So switching gears a little bit now, I want to talk about some of the new features that we're working on. There are a couple of things that we're really excited about. So one of the pain points customers have told us is that as they get their data strategy in place, having centralized administration tools are really critical to scale. So in the coming weeks, we are going to be releasing some updated administrative capabilities, and some of these capabilities are going to include things like creating security roles for users. So in an enterprise organization, an administrator is going to have very different privileges than a project manager or a basic user who's only going to be tagging. So we're going to give our customers the ability to really manage and control the data that they're uploading to the system. We're also going to be refreshing the dashboards and providing a lot more insight for each role to help users measure the efficiency of their work, right? So if I'm a project manager and I have 3 people that are assigned to a data set to annotate that data, I really want to be able to know which of those three users are being efficient with their time, who's the quickest, which images are taking the most time to annotate, So things of that sort, lots of metrics to give you insight into your programs and projects. And then, project managers want to be able to distribute data sets across different users and really collaborate on those data sets. By doing this, you're making the tagging process, a joint effort. And then you're able to take a data set that's perhaps 10,000 images and split it across 3 users and really expedite the process of coming to a finished and complete data set.
Yeah, Rakesh, we started to slowly roll out access to the beta program, and I know a lot of PMs have been asking about how they can QA annotated data. Can you talk a little bit more about how Brain Builder will enable that?
Sure. So as part of the administrative capability, project managers will be able to QA their data sets at the project level. So what this means is a project manager can simply take a selection of images and really approve or deny the accuracy of the images that are being annotated. And so it's going to give them a little bit of flexibility and control over the accuracy of the annotations. In addition to that, we're working on moving this to the image level as well. So not necessarily only doing this at a project level, but digging a lot deeper and looking at individual images and trying to really automate that process as well.
Great.
So finally, the feature that we're the most excited about is our video segmentation. And so we've heard from numerous customers that annotating videos is a really time-consuming and expensive task. So as an example, if you're a user and you have a video that's 60 seconds long and at 30 frames per second, that's about 1,800 frames that a person is going to need to annotate. And so that's a lot of time and that's a lot of resources that you need to have. So with our new video annotation capabilities, we're using AI to help automate this process. So a user will simply annotate one frame inside of a video, and the system will generate all of the subsequent frames. So I have an example here of that in process. So right now, we're using one of our tools to annotate this figure skater. And this is our basic point and click tool, but again, as we mentioned, we have other tools like SmartFill. So I'll give a class, I'll say this is person, and now I'll pick the segment of the video that I want to annotate, and then I'll decide between the speed and the accuracy of the process. So once that's done, for this particular segment, I started it at the 10-second mark. So we annotated one frame at the 10-second mark, and now the system will start to generate all of the subsequent frames from that mark. So you can see here, all of the frames moving forward are being annotated. So we're really excited about this, and we really think this is going to save our customers a lot of time when it comes to tagging videos. So the other thing is we do recognize the need for accuracy as we're building these tools, and we're currently in the process of tweaking our algorithms and making sure that the speed and accuracy is in line with our customer expectations.
Great, thanks so much, Rakesh. So we have about 10 minutes now to ask questions. So if you guys in the audience want to go in the Q&A section and type in your questions or any feature requests that you have for Rakesh, please do so now. And again, if you haven't already applied to join the beta program, the link is in the chat section and also right back up on the screen. So we have a couple questions trickling in. The first one is, I've registered for the beta program. What do I do next? That's a great question. So once you've signed up for the beta program, you'll get an email from Neurala. And we really just want to make sure, because this is we're launching this in beta, we want to make sure you have a good experience. So we're just asking for a little bit more information about why you want to use Brain Builder. This is a computer vision tool. We don't do text or or audio. So that's why we ask those questions, and we also, it just gives us a good sense of what you guys want, why you're using the tool. So go ahead, email those, you'll get the email, answer those questions. We review each of those applications, and we're slowly rolling out access to beta members. All right, so our next question is, do you have any data augmentation tools?
Yeah, that's a great question. So that's definitely something that we've heard from a lot of our customers. It is on our roadmap to implement. So being able to flip images, resize images, crop images, things of that sort. So currently in the tool, we don't have that, but they will be implemented in the coming quarter.
Okay, great. Someone else just asked if the webinar is going to be recorded and accessible. Yes, we will be emailing you the webinar tomorrow, so you will have the webinar that you can go back and look at the demo as well. All right, another question that's come in. How is this Brain Builder tool different than what's out there already?
Yeah, another great question. So what we did when we first started out building Brain Builders, we did a survey of all of the really open source tools out there. And what we found was one of the biggest pain points is users don't really want to have to go to GitHub and download source code to implement. And they also want something that's something that has an easy to use interface. And really smarter tagging capabilities. So while a lot of the open source tools provide you with the basic capabilities, they're not really focused on giving you tools that help to speed up the process. And that's one of the things that we're really focused on. We mentioned the Smart Fill tool earlier, but we are going to be releasing some AI-assisted capabilities as well to help expedite the tagging process.
Great. Okay, next question that's coming. Is it possible to manually fix the auto-annotated images or the frames of the videos?
So yeah, great question. So with our video segmentation, you would essentially tag one frame in the video and let the system process the subsequent videos. If, however, you feel that some of the frames are not accurate, you can manually fix the subsequent frames and get them more accurate.
Okay, someone else has asked, how many images do I need to tag in order to build a good data set?
Yep, so it really depends on your use case. And it's really important to pay attention to both quantity and quality. Our rule of thumb is, garbage in, garbage out, right? And so for a particular use case, we really recommend at least 1,000 images per class, and that's really the barrier to entry. But if you're really looking at creating a production level solution, and by production level, I mean 90% accuracy plus, really we're looking at about 5,000 to 10,000 images.
And then now we have a question around data security, which is very important to us. This user wants to know, how is my data secure and isn't supporting any of my competitors' work?
Yeah, great question. So right now, we do not distribute data. We do not distribute your individual customer data to anyone else. It's hosted in a private cloud. So, we take proper precautions to make sure that the data isn't leaked in any type of way. We are also working on a on-premise version. So we recognize that a lot of our customers have very strict data security policies. And so we are working on a version of Brain Builder that allows our customers to implement on their servers or on their private cloud.
Great. Okay. All right, a lot of good questions are coming in. Keep your questions coming in, and any sort of feature requests that you guys like to see in the tool. All right, so next question that's come in is, let's see, what's the ETA for release?
So for the ETA for our video release is going to be in the next week or two. So we're very excited, and we encourage you to sign up. And as soon as we release in the next week or two, you'll be some of the first to get access.
And then the tool and the smart fill tagging annotation tools that Rakesh demoed today, those are available. So if you go ahead and apply for access with the link that's on the screen, we'll evaluate your use case and you can get access to the beta product right now. Another question that's come in is, I've read that Frame Builder allows for rapidly prototyping AI solutions. Can you talk about how Frame Builder helps with that process?
So when you say rapidly prototyping solutions, can you elaborate on that a bit?
Yeah, I think what this user might be talking about is how we allow for that pillar one, and if you think about traditional AI systems with the build, deploy, analyze, we're really helping speed up that first part in the train section.
Yeah, so I mean, I think there are a couple of things there, right? So number one, we're hoping to implement the tools that are really intelligent, that allow you to create these rapid prototypes, right? So right now, the data tagging process is a very cumbersome process, and you can't create a prototype without going through that process, right? And so for us, we want to be able to give intelligent tools to customers to be able to really get to that level very quickly. In addition to that, I mentioned this earlier on the call, and this really goes to pillar two. We do have some proprietary technology that we have that will allow customers to build neural networks much quicker and leave a lighter footprint than your traditional DNN training process, right? And that's some of our LDNN technology. So we're taking a two-prong approach, right? Really speeding up the annotation time and then using our technology to create neural networks very quickly within the tool.
All right, great. So we have a few minutes left here. So again, these are really great questions coming in, so keep asking questions that you might have for Rakesh. What use cases are good for Brain Builder?
Yeah, great question. We've seen a variety of use cases. So we've done a lot of work in the inspection vertical. So that ranges from inspecting cell towers to oil rigs, any type of infrastructure. And then we have use cases where you want to be able to leverage Brain Builder to identify people, bicyclists, cars in some type of smart city environment. And then there's also the security vertical, right, where you want to be able to annotate people and detect if they're coming into a scene. So it really varies. We've seen a lot, but anything that is really vision based that you can see, it's really a great use case for the tool.
Great. So we have a few minutes left. We'll take two more questions. One question I think is interesting, and I want to be as transparent as possible, is the cost past the beta. So I'm not on sales, so I can't speak to the exact pricing breakdown, but what I will say is that we really want to get feedback for the tool. So we will be honoring people who sign up and access and use the beta and give us feedback for early adopter price and costs. Another question, I think someone wants to know about hardware. Can Brain Builder be used for a drone? So again, we're really focused. I'll let you respond, Rakesh, but I think Brain Builder, as we see it today, is really focused on that step one of getting your data ready. But I can let you expand on that in the hardware.
Yeah, so currently right now, Brain Builder is a cloud-based service. We're working on being able to run this on-prem. We don't have the capabilities just yet to have it set alone in a standalone drone, But in order to really use the tool, right, we've talked to customers about possibly integrating it with some of their drones. It's not something that's readily available just yet. But if that is of interest to you, I would say that we should collaborate and talk a little bit further.
Great. Awesome. Well, I want to thank everyone for joining today. It was a really great discussion. Thank you, Rakesh.
Sure.
Like I mentioned before, this webinar is recorded and we will be emailing the webinar out to all the attendees today. So thank you again for joining us. And if you haven't already, apply to join the Brain Builder program in the link in the screen that you see right here.